Hey everyone, SnowBee here with some important beginner tips for Sons of the Forest. As a beginner, you may feel a little bit lost, but let us get into some important suggestions that could save your life. First up, if you have never played the forest, you won't really know that the save game option is done through shelters and beds. There are two ways that you can get to do this. Either you can build a shelter yourself by finding some tarp at the start, or you can do this the easy way. As soon as you communicate with Kelvin, you can just tell him to build a shelter. That is it. Simple. Now you don't have to use your own tarp or anything, as Kelvin already has one stashed on himself. Saving the game is the next easy step. Once your shelter is built, you can just go up to and hold the E button option. Now you can save or sleep by holding the correct key. Speaking of holding the E button, I've seen a lot of beginner players, including myself when I first played the forest, getting confused between holding and just tapping the E key when eating. First, with container boxes, new players often hold the E key and end up eating the food directly out of the container. I found this chocolate bar and I held the E key. Now I end up eating it. You really just want to pick it up and add it to your inventory. So just tap your E key, don't hold it. Same with berry bushes. If you come to a new bush and you tap the E key to pick a berry. However, if you hold the E key, it will attempt to eat the berry straight off the bush. If you eat the seed and the berry is good for you, the bush will forever show a green symbol. If you eat from a bush that is not so great for you, then it will show a red icon on it. If you eat from these bushes, your character will also usually make a sound as if he's been hurt. So remember, hold the E key to eat and tap the E key to pick the fruits and add it to your inventory. One of the first weapons that you will make is the spear. With this, we can introduce how crafting and combining items functions. First, let us make sure you have enough sticks. If not, you can go pick up some or head over to the very small trees with your weapon and bash them down. Now pick up the sticks. Press the I key for your inventory. It is larger than the old forest inventory, and as you move your mouse left to right, you can see the inventory shift to view more items. Let us select a stick. Any item that can be combined, just right-click it and it will automatically go into the center of your inventory. Now run your cursor over the cog and it will show you the items that can be combined. For a spear, I have the ingredients in my inventory. For those ingredients that are red and are missing, you can't do anything about those until you get them. For my spear, I select another stick as I need to. Then I get the utility knife and the duct tape. Then select the cog and combine. It then runs the animation for making the spear. Done. Left click to hold the spear in your hand. Now, a life-saving tip. As far as I can tell, there are currently no shortcut keys to your weapons or items. You do have shortcut keys for certain items like the lighter or the GPS, but when you just want to select a spear or an axe, you can't just press 1 or 2. When you have a nasty cannibal breathing down your neck, you don't want to be painfully opening up your inventory each time to swap weapons. There is, however, an easier way. Open your inventory and select your backpack. You can easily remove items from your backpack over here. For now, I just want to add my spear. Then I leave my inventory, and if I want to quickly swap to another weapon, instead of pressing the I key, I hold the I key down. This pops up the backpack and not the whole inventory, and you can quickly select what you want. As mentioned in my first point, Kelvin can be a huge help in the early game, so make sure you use him. Using pieces of paper to communicate with him, he can go and collect logs, sticks, stones, and even fish. When you start off as a beginner, it can be a bit of a challenge to go around killing animals. But Kelvin to the rescue. Just give him the order to get some fish. He will go catch them and bring them to you or drop them on the floor. You can then ask him to craft a fire, or, well, you could do it yourself, and then add the fish to the fire. You can see the color of the raw fish. Once they turn a bit of a brownish color, then they are considered cooked. Either take them off the fire just by tapping the E key, or hold the E key to eat them straight off the fire. One disadvantage of getting Kelvin to do a lot of the manual labor instead of doing it yourself is that most tasks increase your strength. You will get stronger, which can benefit your maximum health as well. So leveling your strength will be slower if you don't do much activity. You can get hold of a 3D printer near the start of the game if you know where it is. Currently, we seem to have 3 start, crash, spawn locations. The first and easiest is in the forest near a small water feature, and as far as I know, this is where the 3D printer is. There are apparently other 3D printers, but you will need to dig to get them, and that, well, requires a shovel. If you look at the flashing circle, head over to that. I've also zoomed out on my GPS locator so it gives you a better idea of the location. To zoom on the GPS, press the mouse wheel in. Don't scroll the mouse wheel, but press the mouse wheel to toggle zooming in and out. Now, Kelvin won't go down with you into the bunker, but there should be no enemies in this area. Don't worry, just head into the cave or the bunker. You should be able to find the 3D printer further down the corridor, and you can now print a mask, grappling hooks, and a water bottle or flask, even arrows. However, printing a sled is probably unlikely at this point because the sled takes a lot of ingredients. Virginia will start showing up at your location within a day or so. She will usually run away once you get too close to her. To make her more comfortable, make sure when she approaches, don't have anything in your hands or at least remove your weapons. Press G to put away your weapon. After a while, she'll become friendly enough for an icon to appear on her so that you can then trade her inventory items. While you're still trying to be friends with her, if you do mistakenly hit her, she will eventually forgive you and will return, so don't worry too much about that. If you are new to this world, then at the start, the tribespeople and cannibals will usually leave you alone. They will just be curious initially, but if you don't hurt them, then they should probably leave you alone for a few days. The cannibals will likely be the first to start getting too close and attacking you. If you have a 3D printed mask, you can often scare them away. The muddy looking enemies running around on all fours won't be bothered by the mask, but in the early days, it's really the cannibals that will actually start causing you the most harm or turn hostile. Get your bow up and running as soon as you can, as shooting from range is always a good idea, and then switching to your melee weapon once they get closer. Keep your drugs in your backpack in case you want to have a quick painkiller. If you are taken out in a skirmish and knocked out in some way, usually they will capture you and take you back to their camp. They hang you up, but you can free yourself with a knife. Don't forget to get your inventory contents, which will be a flashing icon on your screen. Then I would suggest you run away. Your health will be very low, so you don't really want to have another encounter. You'll probably die at that point. Well, with these points in mind, you should have a very good idea of how to start with Sons of the Forest and what to expect. Thanks for watching, my fellow minions, and I will see you in the next one.